Welcome to the Lost Signal podcast. Today, we're diving into a world of crime scenes, clairvoyants, and cold cases. So grab your crystal ball as we ask the question, have police ever actually used psychics to solve murder cases? It's a staple of TV shows and movies. The reluctant detective finally turns to a mysterious psychic when all leads run cold. But how much of this is Hollywood fiction, and how much reflects reality? Let's find out. So, have police departments ever used psychic consultants? The short answer is yes. Law enforcement agencies in the US, UK, Australia, and elsewhere have occasionally consulted psychics. But here's where it gets interesting. Psychics are almost never officially employed or used as credible forensic sources. Rather, they're often entertained, particularly when there's pressure from media outlets or grieving families desperate for answers. When a case goes cold and conventional methods have failed, some detectives will explore unconventional avenues. Former NYPD detective James Romano had this to say. Look, after 6 months of dead ends, when a family is begging you for any progress, some detectives will listen to anyone who claims they can help. It doesn't mean we believe in psychic powers, it means we're desperate for any potential lead. But the big question remains, has a psychic ever actually helped solve a case? Despite countless claims, there are no verified instances where a psychic's information directly and uniquely led to solving a murder case. Let's look at some famous examples. In 2002, a Missouri boy, Sean Hornbeck, disappeared. On national television, celebrity psychic Sylvia Brown told Sean's parents that he was dead. 4 years later, Sean was found alive. The tip that cracked the case came from a neighbor, however, not the netherworld. Then there's the Patricia Meehan case from Montana in 1989. A psychic claimed to see Patricia alive and wandering. This led to hundreds of false sightings, which actually hampered the investigation by diverting resources. The case remains unsolved. One of the closest maybe cases comes from 1922, France. In the Pauline Picard case, a psychic reportedly pointed authorities to where remains would be found. But here's the catch. The tip came after extensive media coverage. There's no proof the psychic had any special knowledge that couldn't have been gleaned from newspapers. Despite the lack of evidence for psychic effectiveness, grieving families often turn to psychics, particularly in cold cases. Dr. Elizabeth Mitchell, a psychologist who specializes in grief, explains why. When conventional methods fail, families seek alternatives. It's not about being gullible, it's about needing hope. When the police investigation stalls, families feel abandoned. A psychic offers the possibility that their loved one hasn't been forgotten. Has any psychic ever been publicly recognized by law enforcement as helpful? There have been a few claimed commendations, but they're extremely rare and often disputed later. In the 1970s, psychic Noreen Rainier claimed she assisted both the FBI and various police departments in California. She gave public talks about her work and was referenced in several books. However, the FBI later distanced themselves, with their official stance being clear. The FBI has stated that it does not hire psychics and does not plan to use them. So, what do police actually think about psychics? Most officers express polite skepticism, leaning heavily toward dismissal. Detective Sarah Wilkins from the Boston Cold Case Unit put it this way. The problem with psychic tips is they're almost always too vague to be actionable. I see water, woods, and the color red could describe thousands of locations. And when we're working with limited resources, following vague leads can take us away from more promising avenues. That said, some departments will occasionally follow a psychic tip if nothing else has worked. Not because they believe in paranormal abilities, but to cover all bases or to address public pressure. Police departments also have to be careful about credibility. If they're seen relying on supernatural methods to solve cases, it could damage public trust in their investigative procedures. So, where does this leave us? While the intersection of psychics and police work makes for compelling television, the reality is far less dramatic. There's simply no documented case where psychic powers have been the key to solving a murder. And yet, as long as there are unsolved cases and grieving families searching for answers, this unlikely partnership will continue to exist on the fringes of law enforcement. Thanks for watching The Lost Signal, where the truth may be out there, but we always check it for fingerprints. Hit like, subscribe, light a candle, and we'll see you in the next one.